Alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, dear viewers, and welcome to Success Path, where we explore different success stories and different individuals who are leaving a positive impact into our society. Today's guest is not a typical English teacher. She's a vibrant force who turns learning into fun and emotional moments. She's teacher Karima, a marketing graduate, a TV host, and a content creator. Teacher Karima, welcome with us. It's a pleasure having you here today with me.
Thank you so much. Likewise. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are very welcome. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, teacher Karima?
Yeah, sure. So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Karima Malouki. I'm an English teacher, a content creator, and a TV host. My goal is to help other teachers create more fun and engaging lessons and make teaching a bit more interesting for kids, let's say. And I hope that sharing my experience today is going to help the viewers do just that.
Hopefully. Thank you, teacher Karima. Dear viewers, let's go quickly to the jingle and come back to start our conversation about making teaching and learning more fun. So teacher Karima, we are back. You describe yourself as teacher friend. Could you tell us where did that came from and what do you exactly mean by that?
Well, the funny thing about that is I didn't choose it and I didn't even plan it. It kind of came when I started creating content, because I first started creating my content mainly for the students, because I used to film my students doing great job in English, and I thought that those videos need to be posted so their parents can see them and so they can watch themselves improving. Yes. And then when I started posting those videos, it started reaching other people, because that's how social media works.
Yeah, algorithms.
Exactly. And I started, step by step, I started having this community of teachers. The content started reaching teachers, and I started getting messages and feedbacks from other teachers who are trying my games or trying my strategies in their classrooms. And I even received videos of other classrooms, and and they were doing the games that I shared on my page, and you have no idea what that did to me.
Yeah, that must have felt very good.
Exactly, like you feel like you have an impact and an influence beyond your classroom, beyond even Algeria. Yeah. I received videos from all over the world.
That's very beautiful.
Exactly, yes. So that's kind of when I thought about shifting my focus into helping teachers. Because as teachers, starting is a bit difficult, because you need someone to guide you. You don't know whether you're doing a good job or not. You don't know where to start.
The feeling of responsibility is also exhausting.
Exactly, yeah. You don't know if this is how it's supposed to work or not. So I wanted to be that person for other teachers. I want to be the one they can come to for advice. I want to be the one who can provide them with those resources that they didn't find. Because alhamdulillah, when I started, I had other colleagues to help me. I had a great mentor.
Yeah, you had your help.
Exactly, yes, to help me. I had to do my own efforts, obviously.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but I wanted to be that person for other people, and that's where I thought I can be the friend that they can come to. And this is where it started, actually.
That's a very beautiful goal. I mean, may Allah be with you throughout your way. So, how do you make English lessons fun and emotional at the same time? What's your key?
My key is mostly understanding my students. I plan my lesson not around the goal of the lesson, but around what the student or the outcome the student is going to take from it. So I always start by explaining to them how this is going to help them, beyond just getting grades. Like, you're not studying to get grades, you're studying to speak English, you're studying because this is something you can use in your daily life. And I think that just showing the kids that, or the students, showing that this is something that you can face in your daily life, that makes them interested, that makes them engaging
Yeah, more
with you.
engaging with the
Yeah.
language, and they make them, it maybe makes them wanting to learn the language, which makes it a lot easier for them to
Exactly.
learn.
Yeah. So once we've established that, once
Yeah.
they understand that this is, they have an outcome, and then comes the most difficult part, which is keeping it interesting to them,
Exactly.
and that's where I use
That's
gamification.
what the fun comes.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where you have to
To add the
introduce
fun.
fun
Exactly.
in your classroom.
Especially to kids.
Yeah, obviously. So this is where I use gamification strategies, and I think that works perfectly, especially with kids.
Yeah. Why do you think that these kids respond better to these fun ways?
Because we're facing a new generation of kids or students who have a very short focus span. They are
Exactly.
not focused, like we're beyond those students who would just
Not
come.
like ours, of course.
Exactly, yeah, not like the past generations where we had no other distractions. Nowadays, kids are always on their screens, like whether we want it or not, whether we're
We're admitting it or not.
exactly,
It's happening.
reality. Yeah, we have. So we
Exactly.
have. It's something that we have to face, and it's something we have to live with.
To adapt to, of course.
Exactly. Yes. So this is why it's time to change the traditional methods
old
of
methods,
teaching,
yes.
and it's time to introduce something that can make those kids interested. And
In learning the languages, or in learning in general,
learning
not
in
just
general.
Languages.
yeah, in learning in general, exactly, because even in other objects or other subjects at school, sorry, you can introduce gamification. It's not just about languages, it's about the classroom itself.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share a moment in class where you touch deeply someone or some kid and you were deeply affected by it also?
Well, for this moment, I'm gonna tell you a story about this new group I had.
Okay.
And this touched me because it was the first time, it was in my early start as a teacher, and that was the first time I felt like I'm doing something.
I had an impact.
Yeah, exactly. So I had this new group. They were kids. They were like 7 to 8 years old. It was summertime. And I had this one student. Her name is Sarah. Sarah was 7. And she always asked me for water because she had her bottle of water, but it was hot, so
Yeah.
she would consume it, and she would come to me and she's like, "Teacher, can I have?" Yes, معلش تعطيني أشرب الماء.
Okay.
So one of the things I do in my classroom is make them use English in the daily conversations. And I told Sarah that the next time you come to ask for water, you can just use 2 words, water, please. Because like teaching her, she's only 7, she wouldn't memorize the full sentence.
Can I have some water, please?
Exactly.
It would be too exhausting for her.
Exactly, yeah. So please is a
She
word
would
that
die of
everyone
thirst.
yeah, she would.
Yes,
She wouldn't come
exactly.
to me again.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I told her to use these 2 words to ask me for water, and she did that for quite a bit. And then I introduced verbs in the classroom, and I introduced the verb to want. So I told them how to use the verb to want. Well, it was a bunch of verbs. Want, have, like the basic verbs you need in English. And I taught them the verb to want, and we used it with the words we were studying from their textbook and stuff. And yeah, that's it. And then later that session, Sarah comes to me, and instead of saying those 2 words,
Water,
she
please.
said, "Teacher, I want water, please."
That's very beautiful.
And it seems like really like
Yeah.
she just said a sentence, but
yeah.
no, the
sentence that you taught her how to say it.
exactly, and she did the connection in her head. She didn't wait for me to tell her that you need to put. I just taught them the sentence structure, and she applied it in something that was outside of the session. And that's what made me so proud.
Yes,
And
that's very beautiful.
and as I said, it was the first time it happened. It happened again and again later with my classes, but Sarah was the first one.
Yeah, since she was the first one that you are memorizing.
Exactly, and that's when I was like, wow, I taught her that. And that was the best moment in my life.
Let's go quickly to the jingle and come back to continue this conversation with the teacher Karima Millouki. So, teacher Karima, we are back. Can you tell us briefly about your marketing background and how did this help with your teaching career and your content creation?
Well, actually, I've studied in قناة, the business school,
Yeah.
and I was majored in marketing. I graduated 4 years ago, and I was a teacher. It was like my part-time job as a student. And when I graduated, I kept teaching, but I also tried the corporate world. And then I think that my marketing background really helped me as a teacher because we were taught that marketing is a state of mind. It's a mindset. You need to, the goal, I think that marketing and teaching have kind of the same goal, which is keeping your customer happy or satisfied. And to me, the customer was a student. I needed to make my work revolves around my students, about how to keep them satisfied, how to keep them happy, about giving them outcome. So
Yeah,
I think that this is how marketing would
Yeah, that's very
influence.
interesting, teacher Karima. Now, could you give us a piece of advice to the teachers who are watching us today, how to engage with their students more, how to make learning more fun to their kids?
Well, the advice I always give to teachers is be the teacher you wanted to have as a student, because this is where you know that you're doing a good job. Remember when you were, because we were all students, remember when you were a student, who are the teachers who influenced you badly and in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
And that's who you want to become.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Teacher Karima, thank you so much for being with us. It was such an interesting, fun talk about teaching and everything. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was really fun, and thank you.
You are very welcome, Teacher Karima. Dear viewers, we have arrived to the end of today's episode from Success Path. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.